Hey, what's up, people? Okay, it just told me I need to update. What did it say? Hold up. It said I need to update my VS Code for what? VS Code files. VS Code files change detected. Restart VS Code, not just reload in order for tabs color to work. And then what else did it say? Something else. That's a bug associated with the. Well, there was a second one. Okay, so tab color is working. Okay, some weird shit with the extension. It's working now. One of my extensions. Alright, so what's up, people? Okay, setting a timer 68 minutes. It's been a little bit since I coded. I've been slacking, I guess you'll say. So it's been a few days. Alright, 68 minutes set. The 8th was that 4 days ago, so that was like Thursday, right? Something like that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just copy this basically. It's gonna be part 9. We're starting at 10, which is, man, it's pretty early for me lately, huh? I haven't started this early in a minute. So we stopped at line 224. So let's go over there and see what we got going on. So let's go to things to do, 224, and what are we doing here? Okay, no, because derivative. Okay, so we're working on these last few in the game file. So let's go ahead and bring them up. Alright, so game state. This is the internal use variable for the associated calculated property. So as long as we save the actual game state, not internal, and whenever we reload, we are loading in game state, then doesn't that mean that we don't need to save the internal? Because when we load in and apply the saved game state, that will call the setter, which will internally derivatively set the internal game val right here, which is what we're looking at. So I would like to say that as long as game state is saved, then we should be safe. But you know, okay, yeah, there's game state. Alright, so yeah, we do save that one. So that's going to be a no. We don't need to save, we don't need to save that one because the setter will derivatively set that one. Okay, so now input text, internal input text. This is derivative of the input text calculated property. It's basically going to be the same exact scenario wherein as long as input text is saved, then we're good. Okay, and it looks like, yeah, we do save input text. So there we go. We can just go ahead and put no for this one. I think pretty much all these are just going to be no. but we're going to check them just to be safe. So we have multiple choice active, derivative multiple choice active calculated property. Whenever we call the setter, it's going to set it, same as the others. And let's just make sure that we are saving it, the multiple choice active. Yep, so it is being saved. So we don't have to worry about saving the internal because it will be derivatively set. Alright, multiple choice text 1. Let's check that out. This is derivative of the calculated property, just like the other one. Yep, so it's derivative through the setter, as long as we are saving the actual property. Multiple choice text 1, yes. Okay, cool. So we are saving that one. So this one will be no as well. And I'm going to go ahead and say multiple choice text 2. It's going to be the same exact scenario. Round and winner sound bool. That's going to be associated with the setter. And there we go, just like the rest. And as long as we save this one, we're good. Yep, and we do save it. So let's go ahead and say no. And then we have the event handler start time. This one, I don't know, honestly, about that. Let's check it out. So this is a placeholder to avoid error. Will be assigned an integer in game loop to determine. Okay, so it's set in event handler, or it's checked here. It is set, and then in draw window main, which is going to be after event handler is called. Yeah, so after event handler, yeah, duh, because it's comes after it. Duh. So we check it, we set it, and then we check it, and then we set it. And that's it. So this is all going to happen within the same main while loop iteration, right? Because we call event handler at the beginning of draw window main. So the event handler stuff, this will happen first, where it checks to see if it's equal to none. Then if it is, it will set it to the current time, and then immediately after we check to see if it's greater than 2 seconds, and if it is, then we set the event handler start time to none, and that's it. I don't really remember why we use this, honestly. Oh, it's for highlighting the click card. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so this is basically like a throwaway. It all happens in one iteration, so it's not like well, okay, that's not technically true, is it? Because yeah, right, because okay, so it's not it's actually not one while loop iteration because of the 2-second thing. So it would actually be set, and then 2 seconds would pass, which would be lots of while loop iterations. But I'm just like, so realistically, I don't think we need to save this. Simply because if we have a disconnect, damn, that's loud. If we do have a disconnect, I'm not sure that that we would be able to reconnect within 2 seconds. Does that make sense? So like basically saving it would just be pointless, because like if start time gets started and then it's counting till 2 seconds, and then after start time starts and it's highlighted, then let's say we disconnect. Well, at that point in time, if we disconnect, well, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to take us at least 2 seconds to reconnect. So by the time we reconnected, well, the card would still be highlighted though, right? So if we did save it, the card would still be highlighted. So yeah, if we started the start time, that starts the highlighting of the card. Now the card's highlighted. The clock is ticking. Associated with the start time, it's going to see if it's if the event handler end time has been 2 seconds after the start time. So start time starts, or start time is set, card is highlighted, disconnect. Let's say we save the start time, we reconnect, we load in the start time. Basically, once the first iteration of the while loop is run, it's going to set the end time to whatever time the reconnect is, let's say 3 seconds later. So then it will immediately change the highlight click card back to false, and would then set the event handler start time to none. But let's say we, and that would basically just make the card not be highlighted anymore, right? But let's just, for the sake of argument, if we didn't save it, so let's say we don't save the start time. So we start the highlight card, and so the highlight click card is set to true at this point. Because that's just the way that it works. And where does the highlight click card actually get set to true? Let's see. So it gets set to true if event handler start time is equal to none. So if you click a card that start time is set to none, and then highlight click card is set to true, and then 2 seconds later it gets set back to false. So if we didn't save the start time, and when we reconnected, the highlight click card would be set to true, because we do save that, or do we save the highlight click card? I guess it kind of depends on that. And I thought we said we're not gonna save that because of the reason. Okay, yeah, we're looking for things to do. Yeah, so here it is. So we actually did say yes, we're gonna save it. Okay. Gotta get back to my spot here. Okay, so event handler start time is equal to none. Event handler start time equals time in S. Alright, so this back where we were, right here. So let's say highlight click card gets set to true, event handler start time gets set. Since highlight click card is equal to true, it gets saved. But then we disconnect. Now when we reconnect, highlight click card is still going to be set to true, okay? And then whenever we, since we haven't saved the event handler start time, it would be default to, I guess, none, right? Yeah, it would be set to none. So once it got to this event handler, I think it would actually throw an error because it would say, if self click card is not equal to none and self highlight click card is equal to true. So let's just say that is true in this case. Let's see if self highlight card is true. If self click card is not equal to none. So my question is, I don't know if it would enter into this section, because I thought that click card would only, like, I thought click card basically gets set and then just like thrown away, you know what I mean? So that this section would only actually get entered into one time, aka the time at which the card was actually clicked. So if it's not going to re-enter into this section, then we don't actually need to save the start time. But that wouldn't make sense, because if the click card was only set to none, if the click card was set to none immediately after the card was clicked, well, then it would never ever enter into this section, right? It would never get to this point, because if it basically just went from click card being registered to click card being back to none, then it would never enter in here, which means it would never enter in here and check the end time against the start time. So I'm assuming that since this system does work in the game, that clicked card does get set back to none, like at a later point in time. It doesn't actually happen here. So where does clicked card get set back to none? That's actually the question. It hinges on this. So click card. Self click card is equal to none. So if event type is mouse button down and click card active is equal to true. If event is mouse button, so if you click and click card active is true, then it sets clicked card equal to none. So if they clicked a card, it gets highlighted. But if they click another card, then it gets reset back to none. So if they only click one card at a time, like if they click one card and wait 2 seconds, then that means clicked card would still be equal to the clicked card at the point in time right here where it says if click card is not equal to none. So this would work throughout the 2-second duration. So it would enter into this section, and then it would try to run this. But since the event handler end time is going to be a float and start time is just going to be set to none, that's going to throw an error. So we actually do have to save the event handler start time only because we have to prevent it from throwing an error. Does that make sense? Yeah. So only in the case that it's only to prevent an error from happening. It's not really gonna, like, you know, keep the card highlighted, but it's no big deal. It's fine. So we do need to save this one, just to avoid error in draw window main logic. And I'm tired. I can feel the sleepiness, but I'm not taking a nap. I just shouldn't be this tired. I am, but I shouldn't be. I hate being tired, bro. Doesn't that suck? You're just like tired. Work really hard. Short ass shift, don't make that much money, but it's fucking wear you out. And then you're just tired. Fucking sucks, dude. It sucks, doesn't it? Alright, there we go. So, what are we doing? Her. Okay, so that does need to be saved. Now, what about end time? Okay. End time. I don't know about this one. I don't think we'll need to save this one because this one gets set like every time this section gets entered. It just gets like reset and then checked against. It's more of just a throwaway. We don't even actually have to like have this as a variable. We could just simply put time.time ns minus, like, event handler end time doesn't even really need to be a thing. It's just for extra description. So yeah, this one doesn't need to be saved. We're gonna say no to this one. Yeah, because it's set immediately before it's checked every time. Honestly, I'm just gonna delete it. Like it shouldn't even be a thing. Just straight up. We could just do it like this. We'll just say time.time ns, and then we're gonna just do it like that. Bam. If time.time ns minus event handler start, and that should work, right? Like, you can do this. Let me just test this just to make sure before I delete it. Let's go over to test reminders. There we go. And this will import time, and then we'll do paste this in minus, let me just say yeah, and that works. So yeah, you can do it like that. So there we go. Boom. That's how we're gonna do it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that's how I thought it would be. Okay, so what are we doing here? Now we're gonna go and okay, so we're gonna get rid of the event handler end time altogether. This is no longer going to be a thing because we just don't need it. It's that simple. Get rid of it. And then we have devlogs. We don't need to worry about that. And then this one is going to disappear. Boom. All right, so last one. We finally made it. Selected choice internal. Whoopsie. Where did that disappear to? So this is basically almost certainly going to be no, because it's the internal use variable associated with selected choice setter. And as long as selected choice is saved, then the internal will be as well. Does that make sense? And selected choice. Okay, we actually don't save it because it's not necessary to save. It's not needed on CS. Plus is added to change outer list at time of change. So this one is going to be no because the fact that the selected choice is no. Okay, so we're done with the game file, finally. About damn time. About damn time. Cool. So that feels nice to have finished that. So what we can do now is we're gonna go up here and we're gonna go through and we're gonna see which ones need to be saved, which ones have a yes next to them. Let's just leave that as it is until I'm actually done. Okay, so now we need to open up the, what is it, save logic? I can't even remember what file we were working in. Yeah, so the master save object list, right. Okay, we have this comment here. I'm not worried about that right now. We'll take care of that another time. So we have this. We're going to copy. And we're just going to make like... Just make a bunch of those. Alright, now we're going to go through. So we have no, 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 no. All these no's. And then song num is going to be yes. So we're going to put song num. Okay. Then we have no, no. And then we have choose multiple cards. Okay. And then no, 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 no. Then we have our yes, which is going to be click card active. And then enter continued text active is going to be yes. Then we have game state, which is going to be a yes. Then we have multiple choice active, which is going to be a yes. Multiple choice text 1, which is going to be a yes as well. And then multiple choice text 2. Progression text is a yes. Round end winner sound bool is yes. Selected choice no. Click card no. Text input active is yes. Background no. Background color no. Black color no. No. Clickable card list yes. Remember logic for this being CTL instance. And we just are gonna put that as a note, so I'll make sure to handle that correctly. And then what's our next yes? It's gonna be highlight clicked card. And now let's go ahead and make some more of these. Alright. Next one is going to be highlight clicked cards list bool. Input text is going to be the next yes. Then we have time choose multiple cards. Time click card active. Time clickable card list. Time clicked cards list. Time clicked card. Time enter continue text active. Time game state. Time input text final. Time multiple choice active. Time multiple choice text 1. Time multiple choice text 2. And now we're gonna make up some more of these placeholders. There we go. Time multiple choice text 2. Time progression text. Let's see. Time round end winner sound bool. Time selected choice. Time input text active. And then event handler start time. And last one, no, that was the last one. All right, cool. And these are all going to be associated with game, so let me just put that here. Game. Okay, what else? Okay, well that's it actually. We did it. So we finished our next file. And songnum is an instance adder. I mean, is a class adder. So now this one is done. Minimize it. Alright, now we're on to the next file, which is going to be locations. So let's open up the file, bring it over here, and let's go to the top and see what we got. Okay, so we have all of these attributes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of these need to be saved. But what we're going to do, just to be diligent, we're going to paste them in anyway. And we're going to, you know, we're going to figure it out. Okay, so we use that elsewhere. I understand. I don't know why we do it that way. I know there was some bullshit with that one. There was some bullshit with it. Self.gameObject. Mirror game state list. Visible top, visible bottom, visible left, visible right, visible center, top left visible from center, card width height, deck loc, discard pile loc, P1 hand start loc, P1 hand, P2 hand start loc, P1 play card start loc, P2 play card start loc, P1 pre-sort play card start loc, P2 pre-sort play card start loc, P1 meld start loc, P2 meld start loc, and then P1 red 3 meld start loc, P1 or P2 red 3 meld start loc. Okay. Card group log dict. Now those are Y reduce num, text name log dict, ratio multiplier dictionary. Whoa, man. Alright, there we go. Okay, that's all of them. X val increase, or P1 hand next loc, P2 hand next loc, P1 pre-sort, next loc, P2 pre-sort, cards next loc. Find, that's a function. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we just need to go through and figure out which ones need to be saved versus don't. Alright, so let's look through here. Card group log dictionary. It's not transferred. It is assigned to, well, these are actually dynamically calculated. So this card group log dict must be redefined at a certain place. Okay, so this is where we do that. We do the card group log dict at P1 hand, P2 hand. So that's all the ones that are associated with the next. Yeah, those are the ones that are dynamically, like, they change. They're not static. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 of them. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the one. That's them. So that's inside of the visual deck discard hand presort update function. Okay. So this is derivative of some method. Group log yourself card group log dict at card group name. So does this one need to be saved? I don't know. I want to say the answer to this is no. I don't think this needs to be saved. Well, okay, so if we don't save it, then it will load in. If we don't save it with the updated values, then that would load in these default values, right? And like, since this would happen prior to the, because we have to initialize the object before we can, like, update its data. So it's gonna assign this to the default values for the 4 dynamic variable ones, right? Because at that point in time, pre-sort play cards would be empty. So it would be errant. It would have errant values. So that one is safe. That one, because that one doesn't change. But does it matter that they're errant if they're not needed? So we update them prior to, like, they're modified right here whenever the card's about to be moved or whatever. Whenever the hand or the pre-sort play cards is about to be updated, this gets run, which relies on the hand being populated and the pre-sort play cards being populated. So it's derivative of the length of those two card groups. So at this point in time, when this function got ran, this would be after we loaded in the hand and the pre-sort play cards. Therefore, these 4 entries, which are the only dynamic ones, would be properly set through this function call, which basically means, like, I don't think it would need to be saved because yeah, I need more coffee. Big coffee. I feel like this is gonna solve itself. It doesn't need to be saved. This is what these 4 lines are for, so that when we call it, it will be proper. Now this one I'm not so sure about. Meld group loc equals self card group loc dict. So this is going to be the card group loc dict at card group name. So in this case, it would be detects where cards should be placed within a meld and detects and visually updates the proper. So this is for melds. This is only for play cards and melds. Yeah, so this would be for play cards and melds. And what exactly is happening here? Well, we use the card group loc dict to grab the start location, which is not dynamic. It never changes. So that can just be default and it will work properly, right? Yeah, this can be default to whatever, like, hardwired value, and it's gonna work properly because it goes off of the X val increase, which is in the Y val increase. So it calculates separately the offset from, like, you know, for each meld to be visually separated, spaced out 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, if you had 4 of them. So it uses the base static starting point, and then it uses other means to calculate the next location. And that would be the same in which the card number, for all instances, which the card number is less than 6. Yeah, so this is melds. If card number is less than 6, that means if there's less than 6 cards in the meld, less than or equal to 6, card group loc dict at card group name at 0. So that's the X plus value increase. Yeah, so this is the base values. So we're good. We don't need to save this. So that's a no. That one was a little bit of a little workout to figure that out, but easy. Card width height, that's gonna be no, it's static. Easy money. What about deck loc? This one's gonna be a no because it's gonna be static. Okay. So it's static. It doesn't change. AKA, it doesn't need to be saved. Discard pile loc. It's gonna be the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't change. It is what it is from the very beginning. Game object. Okay, now this one I don't know about this one. Let's see here. We're looking for the location file. We don't have to worry about the rest of them. So it's just these three right here. Game equals self object, and where does this happen at? In card movement. Game equals self dot game object. And self assigned in setup based on whether it's run from client 1 or 2. Okay. So there it is. So then it gets assigned in setup. So this gets assigned in setup. That means it's going to happen every time on a reconnect. As like basically the first thing that happens. So that makes me believe that it doesn't need to be saved because it's going to be properly set. Okay. So mirror game state list. This one might need to be saved. So this is a reference to it. Also updates the locate game state. What is this? 505, 533. What is this? Where is this? Game state. So this is for the game. Okay, so the game state derivatively sets the game state list. Right. So whenever we're setting it, we are setting the locate mirror game state list equal to at index 0 equal to val, and then okay, so on and so forth for 1 and 2. So this is derivative of game state being set. But that doesn't mean well, yeah, no, game state would be set on a reconnect. So that would derivatively set this. So this is purely derived. And like game state is saved, I know that. So that means, this is verify real quick that game state is saved. Why do we have that file closed? Let's see, game state in that list. Yeah, game state's there. Okay, cool. So I said brain fart. What were we doing here? Which one are we on? Mirror game state list. That one. So that's derivative. It starts off as none none. It is checked in card movement. That's the only time it's used. I don't think we need to save that one because it gets set through the setting of game state. So when the ID is 1, it gets set to whatever this game state is at index 0. And then inside of locations card movement, we check it. If the draw 2 is in the game state list and current card not in P1 hand in current card, not in P2 hand. Change this couldn't think of a good reason to keep it as a class item. What would happen instead? Leaving caution comment in case it causes issues. If location is equal to, if the draw 2, if it's during the draw 2, then we set card image to the face down image. So if either one of them is set to the draw 2, but it would never set the other one. Like, it only would set each one because it's only going to have ID 1 or 2. So one of them is always going to be none. It's going to be it's just not ever going to be used. So ultimately, this one doesn't need to be saved. Yeah, because it's derivatively set here through game state, and then it's checked in card movement. And as long as whenever we load in game state, that will derivatively set it, and then after that we would run this card movement function and it would be properly set, right? Yeah, so this one doesn't need to be saved. So that's going to be a no. Now place card sound file, that's static. Place card sound, that's a Pygame object. P1 hand next loc. Pretty sure this is a... I just fucked up accidentally. I hit the X instead on card log dict P1 hand next location. So this is a property. And then it will return it. I don't think we need to save this one. Because it's going to be checked, like, or it's going to be set based on the length of the hand at this point in time. So as long as the hand is loaded in, this would be properly set because it gets called before it's accessed. Like, it gets set immediately before it's used. Does that make sense? So I don't think we need to save that one. Yeah, so that's going to be a no. And then P1 hand start loc. This one is going to be a static. Yeah, that one's no. And then we have P1 meld start loc. That's going to be static as well. Let's just check it just to be sure. Yep, same thing. So that's a no. P1 play card start loc. That's static as well. That one's going to be a no. P1 presort play cards next loc. That's going to be a calculated property. So this is the same boat as it is basically a function that is run prior to whenever it is needed. Therefore, we don't actually need that one. And then same, this was going to be the start loc, so that should just be a static tuple, which it is. There you go. Now we have P1 red 3 meld start loc. That one is derivative of previously set static. Yeah, so this one doesn't need to be saved. So this one's going to be no. P2 hand next loc. This is going to be a calculated property, so it's basically just a function. and it's going to be immediately set before it's actually needed, so that one's going to be a no as well. P1 hand start log, this should be a no. It should just be a static tuple, which it is, so that's no. Then P2 meld start log should be the same, and it is, so that's a no as well. P2 play card start log should be static, and it is. Now P2 pre-sort play cards next log should be a property. Part of my property. Yep, so that's going to be the same as the others. That's going to be a no as well. P2 pre-sort play card start log static. Cool. P2 red 3 meld start log static. Cool. Ratio multiplier dictionary, that's going to be static. Never changes. Some math shit for card movement. Resituate cards, no sound. This one, ooh, I don't know about this one. This one might need to be saved. So it's set to true and then immediately set back to false in these different sections. But this does like apply throughout the course of various while loop iterations. And it's checked inside of card movement. So technically within a single while loop, card movement would get called over and over through whenever a card is moved. I'm trying to remember how that works. Oh man, I'm so fucking tired. Like, I don't know how I'm this tired. I shouldn't be. I slept good last night. Why? Okay, this one is locate resituate cards on sound set to true. So this is inside of append. I'm having trouble remembering how the main while loop works in the context of append. So that's a part of the main while loop where a card gets received. Let's say now we're going to append it. That's in the apply section. Then it will constantly call draw window main through the locate func dict being called through append, and that will enter into its own while loop of calling draw window main until the card is in its final location. So this actually is within a single while loop iteration, I'm pretty sure. So it sets it to true. So it's going to have a checkpoint, and then it gets changed to true and then back to false, and then it's going to have another save checkpoint. So basically it's turned on and then turned off within a single while loop iteration. I'm pretty sure. I'm quite certain of this. Because append ends up calling whatever function we're talking about, and then it goes over here. Let's let's go through that real quick. And then let's say it calls one of these functions here. It's gonna call fucking this one, and then it's gonna call card movement. Okay, now it's gonna go to card movement. Card movement's going to go here, and then it's gonna say if there's a difference, like if it needs to move, it's gonna enter into a while loop, and it's gonna call draw window main over and over until that card lands in its final position. And this would all happen within the context of a single while loop iteration. So like that means this true to false would happen in that context. So like basically, as far as saving goes, this is always gonna be like set to false or none or whatever, because of the fact that the way that we have checkpoints. Now, if we changed it to where we had more checkpoints, this would probably change. But since we're just not doing that sort of thing right now, we're gonna just basically go ahead and say this is gonna be no. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and say we don't need to save this one. Yeah, this one's gonna be a no. All right. Text name lokedict. So this is all used in the game initializer, just to reference locations for the rectangles. Okay. And these don't change. Player name text logs. Yeah, these are text logs. Those are static. Those don't actually change. Okay, so the actual dictionary is full of static values that never change. Progression text log. Yeah, see this? Yeah, none of these ever change. So the answer is going to be no, we don't need to save that one. So this is no. Top left visible from center. That one is also going to be no. Because it's static. What did I just do? There we go. Okay, visible bottom. This one's going to be static, not necessary. Correct. So that's no. Same thing with visible center, visible left, visible right, visible top, and then Y reduce num. Quite certain that is static, never changes. Yep. Okay, cool. So that's a no as well. There we go. So that file is done. And there goes our timer. I finished right on time. And let's just go through real quick. And I think no. So they're all no's. They're all no's. So this is done. And we don't have to save anything from this one. Like I told you, I knew this was going to be the case. They're going to be easy. These last few are going to be easy. So we're going to put our date here. Stopped here. Let's copy this. This is line 268. So let's go to devlog. at line number 268 in things to do dot text. Okie dokie schmoky, and the time is 11:10. So this is going to be 11:12, and that's an hour and 12. We'll just say an hour and 15. And then this date needs to be changed. This is going to be 11 to 11:12. There we go. It's up to line 268 things to do. So now let's copy this. Then we're gonna go to our terminal. We're at the root of the project directory. We're gonna do git branch, new feature. We're gonna do git add, git commit -m to commit those staged changes. We successfully did that. Now we're gonna push to the cloud. There it goes. We did it, and now we can go ahead and close this all out and go back to programming projects, rename this local backup to be reflective of today's date, copy this folder, delete the old one from the backup, paste in the new one, and then we just go to check the devlog of the new one, and that is indeed the correct everything. So there we go, guys. Good progress. We only have what, 2 files left to go, or like 3 files left to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have 7 files, but these are easy. Like I already know this is like network's gonna be nothing. It's gonna take 5 minutes. This one's gonna take like 20. This is nothing, so that's 5. We're looking at 30 minutes. 35, 40. Don't need to save that because that's not client side. So that's 45 minutes, and then setup. Probably not gonna need to save that, so that's about 50 minutes. So we're looking at 1 more hour, so we should be able to knock this out next session. This all should be done next session. So we'll see, and then we can go ahead and work on that code to load everything in on a reconnect, and that'll be it, dude. Then we can actually test this stupid ass system and make sure that it works. Yeah, so good progress, and I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go drink some coffee, and I'll be back. See you.